Yes, an unprecedented transfer window means we need to have unprecedented analysis. And I've got Jamie Carragher to do that with me. Jamie, there's only one place to start, Chelsea. They could be breaking the British transfer record, but what have you made so far of their spending and the players they've got in?
It feels a little bit scattergun. I think we felt that in the summer. I do think that there is obviously a plan behind what they want to do in the future. I'd be really interested to maybe know the private thoughts of the manager, actually, because it just feels like he's come into this club and it's just like the players are just coming in, leaving, left, right and centre, and he's got to build something and create some sort of team. He's going to have great players, but can you create that sort of team ethic, that bond that all great teams need in the future? But as I said, I mean, as you're a Chelsea fan, it's really exciting, I suppose. And, you know, Todd Bowley's come in now. He's put his money where his mouth is. And he wants to get Chelsea right back to the top.
You make a good point there on Potter and how this is the antithesis of how he usually works. How difficult is it to integrate so many new players, especially given the position Chelsea are in the league?
Look, if Chelsea can get Victor Osimhen for around £85 million, I don't think that's a problem at all. In today's market, when you're talking about one of the best strikers in world football, that's the sort of fee you're expecting to pay. Chelsea have spent years looking for a proper number 9. We've spoken about it on this show so many times. They've had good players, talented players, but they've not really had that elite centre-forward who guarantees goals every single season. When I watch Osimhen, I see a striker who can score all types of goals. He can run in behind. He's brilliant in the air. He's aggressive. Defenders don't enjoy playing against him. That's what Chelsea have been missing. People will focus on the £85 million, but what's the price of goals? What's the price of a striker who can get you 25 or 30 goals in a season? Those players are incredibly difficult to find. When one becomes available, top clubs have to be in the conversation. I actually think he'd suit the Premier League. Sometimes we talk about whether a player can adapt, but Osimhen's got the pace, the power and the personality for English.
Right, to that big transfer story that emerged last night. Tottenham have had an £80 million bid rejected by Newcastle for midfielder Sandro Tonali. Michael Bridge, look, before we get to Jay's reaction, why do Tottenham want him? And look, a reminder, Spurs' record transfer signing was £65 million they paid to sign Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth in August 2024.
Yeah, look, Spurs are going for it this summer. That was a promise from Vinay Venkatesham and non-executive chairman Peter Charrington 24 hours after staying in the Premier League. But the promise is that it's not going to happen again, and they're going to give Roberto De Zerbi what he wants and needs. And that's already started by Marco Senesi, Andrew Robertson, Jan-Paul van Hecke, £52 million. And now they're not going to go away, Spurs. This bid's been rejected, I think, just under £80 million. My understanding that the bid was on Wednesday. Roberto De Zerbi wants to sign him. It's a matter of priority for him. He wants to really redo that midfield. Of course, he's got another 3 years left in his deal with a club option of additional year at Newcastle United. There is interest from Manchester City as well, but this is a huge, huge bit of transfer news. We're right in the middle of the World Cup, but transfers are really going to start ramping up now. This is a big one. It
is. And Jay, though, are you surprised it's been rejected?
I'll tell you what, first of all, he ain't coming if Arsenal come in. I can tell you that right now. I'm telling you right, and you know this. But he's a great player. He's done fantastically well at Newcastle. I genuinely think he's one of the best midfielders in the world. When we talk about box to box, you know, the way he can make tackles, he makes interception, he leads by example. I think he's a great player, and it would be a great coup if Tottenham could get him. I mean, it will definitely show intention. I genuinely think that, especially with the signings Tottenham's made already, they will probably finish in like the top 8 and maybe even the top 6. De Zerbi, I've got so much admiration for De Zerbi. I think he's a fantastic manager. I mean, when Ange left, I was actually saying that they should be going for De Zerbi to begin with. But obviously they went for Thomas Frank. and you know what happened after that. But they kept in the Premier League. Now they're signing players. They're definitely not going to be in that position. And the thing I like about these transfers that they've made as well, they're making transfers for players that know the Premier League. And I think that's really important so they can hit the ground running.
Yeah, just briefly on this as well, though, but normally a player of his calibre and how he's doing right now, you would be taken by a bigger club or a club with bigger ambitions. Is it a sideways step?
Listen, Newcastle are a fantastic club, but they're always going to be in a position where they can't bring the best players in the world just because of financial fair play. I think when you look at Tottenham, fantastic stadium, one of the best in the world, arguably the best training ground in the world. But then they're on the ascendancy. I mean, people will say, how can you say that? They just, you know, scraped relegation the last 2 seasons, but they have got a European trophy, which is important. But now they've got a fantastic manager as well. There's going to be, he's looking at Tottenham as well, by the way. Tonali's looking at Tottenham thinking, I want to play for De Zerbi. I think De Zerbi can attract them kind of players, which is big.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed.
6 months ago, the idea of Victor Osimhen playing for Chelsea seemed unlikely.
Stop it, Jay.
The Nigerian superstar was being linked with some of the biggest clubs in Europe. Manchester United were monitoring the situation. Saudi clubs were reportedly preparing huge offers. Other elite European sides were keeping a close eye on developments. Yet today, Chelsea appear closer than ever to landing the striker many supporters have dreamed about for years. If this £84 million move is completed, it won't just be another transfer. It could become the defining moment of Chelsea's entire summer. For a long time, Chelsea's biggest weakness has been obvious. While the squad contains exciting young talent, creative midfielders and quality defenders, supporters have consistently pointed to one position that needed immediate improvement. The number 9 role. Goals win matches. Goals win trophies. Goals change seasons. And Chelsea know that better than anyone. That's why Victor Osimhen has become such a priority target. Few strikers in world football combine power, speed and finishing as effectively as the Nigerian international. Defenders struggle with his movement. Goalkeepers fear his finishing. Managers admire his work rate. He is the type of player capable of scoring goals even when his team isn't playing well. Those players are rare. Those players are expensive. And those players often become the difference between finishing fourth and winning championships. This is where Xabi Alonso enters the story. Since arriving at Stamford Bridge, Alonso has spoken repeatedly about building a team that can dominate opponents while remaining dangerous in transition. He wants Chelsea to become faster, more aggressive and more clinical in front of goal. Osimhen fits that vision perfectly. Imagine Chelsea winning possession in midfield. Imagine one quick pass into space. Imagine Osimhen accelerating behind the defense. That's the type of football Alonso reportedly wants to create. Supporters can already see why the manager is pushing for this deal. The exciting part is that Osimhen's arrival wouldn't just benefit himself. Players around him would improve too. Chelsea's wingers would have a world-class target inside the box. Creative midfielders would have more passing options. Defenders would be forced to commit extra attention to stopping Osimhen, creating space elsewhere on the pitch. Great strikers create goals. Elite strikers create opportunities for entire teams. That's what makes this transfer so important. The reaction among Chelsea supporters has been incredible. Across social media, fans are discussing lineups, predicting goal totals and imagining what next season could look like with Osimhen leading the attack. Some believe he could challenge for the Premier League Golden Boot. Others think he could become one of the best signings Chelsea have made in years. The optimism is understandable. Football history is filled with examples of clubs transformed by one major signing. When the right player arrives at the right moment, everything can change. Momentum changes. Confidence changes. Expectations change. Chelsea supporters are hoping Osimhen can have that kind of impact. Of course, football transfers are never simple. Negotiations take time. Details must be finalized. Contracts need to be agreed. Until official announcements arrive, supporters know there is always work to be done. But what makes this story different is the growing confidence surrounding the deal. Every update seems to point in the same direction. Every report increases anticipation. Every discussion raises excitement levels even further. For Chelsea, the opportunity is enormous. The club wants to return to the very top of English football. The club wants to compete for the Champions League. The club wants to challenge the strongest teams in Europe. To achieve those ambitions, elite players are required.